Hi everyone, I'm Touseef.
And I'm Brooke.
And we wanted to say hello again and do our fourth and last day of our main takeaways from Adweek this past Thursday. So for me, one of the best conversations that I saw on Thursday was from the chief creative person from Snapchat. His name is Jeff Mills. And I'm personally not a big user of Snapchat, but I know that it is a huge medium for a big audience. And I really was interested in understanding why is there so much engagement and why brands are really gravitating towards it. And the main takeaway that I got from there is that, number one, it's more sort of a place where you want to have fun and it's more silly. So it makes more sense that it's really targeted more for millennials and more for the 20 years old. This is what I was telling Brooke. If I was in my teens and in my 20s and Snapchat was around, I would be all over it. Mm-hmm. But I'm more of a LinkedIn person and a Twitter person and Instagram.
My 8-year-old loves it, yeah. Snapchat.
So, and my niece loves it. So, but I can totally understand why people love it. It's because they're able to create these stories by these lenses that that Snapchat provides. And a lot of brands are actually really looking into Snapchat, into creating these lenses that are specific to the brand values and the brand imagery. And then with that, what happens is the brands actually see all the different content creation that is done by the users, and they actually use that to promote their brand. So it's sort of like it just comes back to them. And obviously, if you've created something, you see your brand doing that, then you want to share it even more. So it's just a great way to propagate the content. I just want to say two things that he said that I really loved. This is basically through data they were able to recognize this, is that to really right off the bat say right away, why are you watching this? Like, and not wait until like the 5th, 6th seconds, like no suspense. Tell me why I'm watching this. What is this brand? So I can be involved. That works really well with Snapchat. And he was also saying, no matter the medium, people will always make time for a good story. So sometimes they've had videos done, branding, that are like 12 minutes long, and sometimes it's 6 seconds. So it really depends of the story you need to say, and if it's relevant to your user, they'll stick around. So time is not really as much as important as what you are saying and if it resonates.
So it's okay that our video on the first day was 10 minutes long.
Yes, it was long, but we were excited. Do you want to say, which one did you enjoy?
You mentioned the word data, yes. And I did want to touch on the section that I saw Rick Irwin, the president over one of the divisions at Axiom, spoke, because there's a movement to create kind of food labeling, I guess, for data, because we really don't know where it comes from or what quality it is. And I'm talking about offline data. We are in control of our own first-party data that we collect from our consumers, but when we buy data, how do we know what's in it, how it was collected, and that kind of thing? And he made a really good point that was, we label all of our food too, and that hasn't necessarily helped people to eat healthier. You have to still be an educated consumer about what is the best kind of nutrition. But really what we need is accreditation. So whoever those data sources are need to be verified, need to be certified. If there was some kind of baseline standard for what the best practices are for data collection, then we can give kind of that accreditation to them, and then we would know that we're safe in whatever data that we use.
So it's really about the interpretation of the data and what that means. Because just data by itself, like if you look at the nutrition, you don't really know what it means unless you interpret it.
Well, and is it really valid data?
Oh, okay.
Is it even really good data to begin with? Because sometimes you can buy data and you don't really know where it came from or how it was collected, and it could skew a certain way. And was it even a valid research method that got it there in the first place?
Okay. Yeah. All right. And then one more presentation that was really interesting. It was with two CEOs, one from Chobani. His name is Hamdi Ulukuya. I think he's from Turkey. And also the CEO from SoulCycle, her name is Melanie Wellen. And they have very interesting paths in their lives and how they've created these two brands really coming from the heart and really in terms of their belief system. For example, SoulCycle, it was really about creating an environment for transformation for women and of support, and how that can transcend in a brand. And for Chobani, Hamdi is really a big believer in honoring as well your heart and what you want to do and creating good in the world. And it was really amazing to see that if your heart is really at the right place in terms of creating something, that you really can have tremendous success with that, because people recognize it and they want to be part of that.
Well, and he was sweet. He really, from the heart, just wanted people here to have good yogurt.
Yeah.
He knew that the competitors weren't using quality ingredients, and he just wanted us to have it available. Yeah. I mean, I thought that was sweet.
Mm-hmm. So there's the tremendous sense, a message of hope, and to continue to go towards our dreams, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And then for me, one last thing, I also went to a presentation on AR and VR, augmented reality and virtual reality. I'm not super knowledgeable in that area in terms of the technical aspect of it. But one thing that was really interesting to me is the fact that, yes, we have now augmented reality. For example, now the new iPhone will have that. So it's going to become much more part of our lives. And I think the reason why it's going to be more important, that I have understood, is because when you have AR or virtual reality, you are totally immersed in that experience. You become so engaged that you're completely disconnected from anything around you. And right now, the opposite is happening with every other medium, which is that everybody's trying to get your attention, but you're not really attentive. You're looking at an ad, you're looking at some content, you're always double, triple tasking things. But when you are in an immersive experience such as AR, VR, you are absolutely absorbed. And so we're going to see more of that, and most likely brands are going to get on top of that as well. But that was really made me realize how important it is as we move forward and technology advances.
Well, we got to experience that the other night at the Samsung event. We
That
did a
was so much
VR.
fun.
Yeah, we did a VR. And the first one that I did was about shooting zombies, and I had to turn it off because it was so scary. It was very immersive. Like, it was disturbing how immersive it was.
Yeah, they asked me if I wanted to do that, and I said no.
No.
I want the original introductory one where you can just float in space. That's enough for me. I just want to be an astronaut, not be killed.
Again, my son Fisher would have loved that. Yeah. So the attribution seminar that I went to, for those of you that are working on attribution models and that kinds of things, there was a lot of talk about what's the best attribution model. Is it at the beginning or the end of the sales funnel? And everybody has an opinion on it, and nobody really knows exactly what the best thing is to do. But somebody made a really good point yesterday. The CMO of Quantcast was presenting, and they're a huge company and they know a ton about this kind of thing, and they have a lot of data and a lot of clients that test it. They suggested that you delineate in the sales funnel between before and after somebody goes to your website, and you look at those almost as two separate plans. So your retargeting at the bottom is one, and then the wide net that you're casting to get people to your website is one, and that you don't count all of that towards your clicks. So it got kind of technical. I'm trying not to get too technical, but people that follow this kind of thing, believe me, people that follow this kind of thing are like, oh, okay, I understand. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it was interesting to me because I think that I've seen a lot of people count overall how many clicks you got from a campaign and not really separate the two. And so it does matter, because that retargeting will drive up your click percentage, because those are leads already. They already have been to your site. You already know that they're interested. So it does matter to separate that out.
So it makes you understand which type of framework you need.
Yeah, and how to spend on each one. I mean, you don't have to spend nearly as much on retargeting as you do on that first acquisition, the prospecting phase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? I think for me, I think I did from my end. So one thing we do want to say, we had a great time at Adweek again. This is our third one together. And there's always a word for me that I always associate to each time I go to Adweek. Like 4 years ago, it was storytelling. 3 years ago, it was programmatic. It was very dry. we didn't like that.
It was a lot of buzzwords.
It was a lot of buzzwords. Last year, it was about collaboration, a collaboration in terms of, since there's so many different mediums now and so much expertise, is to collaborate with different people who have that expertise. And this year, I believe it was humanize. So I'm very happy to say that it was humanized. That is the purpose also of why we created the conference, a CoreConnect, where we found that there was too much emphasis on the digital outputs. And so how do you humanize digital marketing? So it's fun to see that people, and we're not the only ones saying that. There were questions from the audience that talked about that, the balance between technology and making things human. So I think we're really on to some great conversations now, and I'm excited about how it's going to move forward.
It's true. There were over and over again that theme woven through Adweek that we visited in CoreConnect. It was, I heard that over and over.
Over and over.
I heard that, and then I heard follow your heart, find your true talent and do that.
Yes.
And it was a lot less technical and more human this year.
Human.
Yeah. We're happy to see that.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for tagging along for these couple of videos that we did. And you never know. The next one we'll do the same thing probably.
Bye.
Bye.